Hello everyone, it's Gia. I am back and it is time now for the next Spirit Animal Oracle. So if you recall, on May 27th I did pull Spirit Animal Oracles and there were several that came through. There were actually two groups of three that came through, and so you can check that out. I did post that video of those spirit animals. So there was fox, owl, and canary. Fox spirit, think on your feet. Owl spirit, you see clearly now. You can see clearly now. And canary spirit, sing your own song. Sing your own song. So that was the first group. And then the second group that came through was squirrel spirit, believe in yourself. Followed by chameleon spirit, act as if. And that was followed by bobcat spirit, life is a mystery. Life is a mystery. So a couple of days later, as I was sitting with how long did these spirit animals want to spend with us this time around? What came through is that each of us should tune into our own spirit for guidance on how long to spend with one particular spirit animal that resonated with you the most, or if there was more than one, to do that. But for me it was bobcat spirit, and life being a mystery, this has been a really interesting experience, inviting bobcat into my daily experiences the past few days, or the past week and a half, I guess, almost 2 weeks. And initially, bobcat's presence felt very steadfast and calm, and just kind of a nice, comfortable walking gait toward me, and nothing. Nothing kind of agitated or anything like that, but just kind of a calming presence. And it reminded me, bobcat spirit reminded me of how important it is to stay in the present moment, and really highlighted for me how often lately I've been living in projections of future potentials, and thinking a lot about past experiences. And this feels directly related to my journeys overseas. So there's, anticipation. I will be traveling back to Ireland again in September, and I will be traveling to Greece in October, and reflecting on my experiences in Ireland. I'm very much in the past and in the future projection, and not in the present moment. So this was a really great, healthy practice for me to hold that intention of being present, being here, being now, being in the present moment now, as much as I possibly can for my day-to-day human experiences, and still know that I'll be able to plan and I'll be able to reminisce and remember, but to not get so caught up in those projections and memories. So, and then by the time I was finished working with bobcat spirit, it was more like a playful tussle, and bobcat would just kind of come prop front legs up on my lap and just kind of give me kisses, and it was fun and playful. And that was a reminder to me to really try not to take things too seriously, try not to take myself too seriously, and not to be too intense about things. It's okay that I might not know what the next present moment holds, and that's fine, because every answer to any question that I will ever have resides within me. And as Fox Spirit says, thinking on your feet, that process of discernment happens at its truest and finest hour when we are reacting and responding to the present moment. So yes, life is a mystery, but it doesn't have to be so intense of a mystery. It can be fun, and we can have curiosity in that process of realizing that life is a mystery. And boy, there have definitely been some things going on, some synchronicities that have been happening with me that are very mysterious in a way, feel very aligned. On a soul level, I have a knowing of a truth about them, and how it's unfolding is part of the mystery, right? How everything is unfolding is part of the mystery of life. So that is my reflection on spending time with Bobcat Spirit. So as I mentioned, once it felt like I had spent enough time with Bobcat Spirit, we're going to move into the next oracle. So Spirit Animal Oracle. So I'm going to put those back in the deck, and feel free to share. If you resonated with any one of those spirit animals from last time. Feel free to share any of your reflections in the post once I share this video. So just give these a good shuffle, and we'll see who is ready to come through next. And again, I'm using this oracle deck. This is Colette Baron Reed's Spirit Animal Oracle. And I just love these cards. They're so beautiful. And the artwork is just lovely. And great. So let's see here. So already one of them was stubborn to be a part of the deck when I was picking it up, so that's going to be one of them. Yep, there's another. Okay. So another. So those three. Wants to come through. So Spider Spirit, as I was lifting the deck off the table, this one was trying to pull it with the rest of the cards, and it wouldn't come with. So this one wanted to make itself known. So Spider Spirit is make your dreams real. Make your dreams real. And then Bat Spirit popped out of the deck. Bat Spirit is a rebirth is assured. A rebirth is assured. And then Beaver Spirit came through. First time for Beaver Spirit. Also first time for Spider Spirit. Beaver Spirit is lay a solid foundation. Lay a solid foundation. So I'm just going to see if it's just those three or if there's any others. So there is another one that wants to come through in the traditional sense. So I have shuffled. I am going to split the deck with my non-dominant hand. And primary Spirit Animal Oracle is the White Raven Spirit, which is trust in the magic. Trust in the magic. Okay. So this is pretty exciting. I like these. All right. So trusting in the magic feels like a really natural follow-up to Bobcat from Life is a Mystery, trust in the magic. Make your dreams real. A rebirth is assured. Lay a solid foundation. So, just see what the messages are here. So when we're acknowledging the truth that all we ever have is the present moment now, and that's what creates the mystery, right? That's what creates the mystery, because we don't know what the next moment is going to bring. When we think about the future, we're thinking about projections of what we anticipate. When we think about the past, it's memories of the past experiences that we've had. So those are just exactly that, projections and memories. And so when we are in the present moment, then we can acknowledge that mystery of life. And if we acknowledge that mystery of life from an uplifting place, from a lighthearted place, from that place, that heart-centered place of trusting and knowing that the abundant universe will provide, and being playful with it, and not being so serious about everything, being lighthearted, trusting in our inner wisdom, our inner knowing, trusting that we do have within us all the answers that we need to all the questions that we will ever have. We just need to trust. Then that's when the magic becomes a part of our daily lives, right? The magic to me are the synchronicities, the coincidences, the messages from spirit, trusting those things, trusting that when I do see a butterfly fly by me as I am sitting out on my porch, that it is a message from spirit, from my mom in particular, and trust that when I do see something in nature or in life that reminds me of the infinity symbol, that it makes me think about my brother. Trust in those magical synchronicities, and that's when we can really begin to make our dreams real. So when we trust in the magic, when we trust in the mystery of life, what seems potentially unattainable becomes attainable. So Beaver Spirit, in relationship to White Raven Spirit's message, trusting in the magic. Beaver Spirit, lay a solid foundation. So what's coming through with this one is the solid foundation is the belief, right? The solid foundation is the belief, and it is the trust. It's believing in the miracles, it's trusting the miracles, it's trusting the magic, it's trusting in the mystery of life. So that is part of the solid foundation that Beaver Spirit is talking about. And trusting in the magic is also trusting in the magic within ourselves, the magic and the ability that we have to manifest the things that we desire in life. And when we are tuned in and tapped into our higher consciousness wisdom, connected in with our spirit, connected in with our higher self, whatever you want to name it as, this is where the magic is. This is where the answers are. This is where we'll be able to connect in with our path and purpose. And like Canary said from last time, sing our own song, find our path and purpose as part of the collective consciousness of the divine. And yeah, so trust and belief. Trust and belief are the foundations that Beaver Spirit wants to underscore supporting White Raven Spirit. And then when we do lay those foundations, that's when our dreams become reality. When we do lay those foundations, that's when our dreams become our reality. So the spider weaves the web, right? Hi, Sydney Ann, one of my very, very good friends. Sydney Ann, thank you for watching. So, making our dreams real. This is something about persistence and not giving up comes through with this message from Spider Spirit. So, spiders build a web, right? And then, something might... You ever notice how, like, spiders, they build a web, and then if something destroys the web, like, even within hours or even the very next day, they're building their web again. They're building their home again. They're building their dream again. They're building their that's their purpose, is to always keep that web in existence, right? So the parallel to that, the metaphor for that could be, as that also is in a way like a foundation. So that web that we build, that web that we weave, we want to make sure that we're tending to that and that we don't give up on it when there's a storm or bad weather, that we believe in our ability to build that dream again. And it also makes me think about the dream catchers that I have. I don't know if you can see it. There's one right here. I have many on my porch and in my home, but I love the dream catchers. So make your dreams real. Catch them with your web, your foundational web, and bring them into your human experiences. So believing and trusting in the magic, trusting in the mystery of life, allows us to connect in with our true source of self, the information, the guidance, the wisdom that resides within. And we don't need to do anything but be as best we can in that present moment of belief and trust. And that as well as weaving our web, creating our foundation, creating our home base, creating our traditions, our rituals, our routines, those things that help sustain the path that we're on, the spiritual journeys that we're on to expansion and enlightenment. Those are the foundational things that are coming through in this message. And then when we're able to do all of those things that in a way that is aligned with our path and purpose, a rebirth is assured, which is that spirit. What I'm also recognizing here is I'm finding it interesting for me personally that spiders are a creature that has taken me a lot to overcome a lot of fear around spiders. So that's letting me know that some of that shadow work, if you will, some of the getting to the deeper seeds of some of those triggers and patterns and stuff is helpful and helping to be able to see the other side of what this beautiful creature creates, right? All right. So we've got 4 wonderful animals, spirit animals that have come through. White Raven Spirit wants us to remember we can trust in the magic of our inner wisdom, trust our compass, our guidance from our knowledge that's within, that we've carried with us always. Yes, we can project to the future, and we can plan for the future, and we can remember the past, but being in, being in the present moment allows us to really tap into that wisdom and react accordingly to the circumstances that are presenting themselves to us. And this also helps us to be light about and not worry about life being mysterious. We can respond accordingly to what is going on in our lives when we are in the present moment. And this Beaver Spirit is saying is a part of the foundation that is going to help us towards that rebirth that Spirit is talking about. And the Spider Spirit, making your dreams come true. Keep building that web, keep building that web, and don't be discouraged if, you need to rebuild it or adjust it or add some more, I don't know what you call them, add some more rings around it or some more threads to it. Like, build the web, keep building the web, and see what we can catch for our dreams and making them a reality. And again, when we're doing all of that in alignment with our true path and purpose, then a rebirth is assured from that Spirit. All right. So this is an interesting quartet here. Trying to see if there's any other messages. Thank you for the information that has come through. Yeah, so in general, don't discount the synchronicities, the coincidences that aren't coincidences, the gut feelings, the internal knowings, the things that kind of make you say, how did I know that? Or how could that be? Or that's crazy, that's impossible, how could that possibly happen that way? Those are the magical things. Trust those things. They're going to be happening more and more and more as the veils thin, as the energy, frequency, and vibration of the planet is rising, as the cosmos is changing and shifting, and so the magic is becoming a new normal for us all. So trusting in that magic is part of laying that solid foundation. And be diligent. Beaver Spirit, just like Spider Spirit, is diligent about building the Beaver Dam, right? Like, laying that groundwork. What I'm thinking about also here, what's coming through now is like, all the stuff that we shed during the year of the snake, the Chinese year of the snake, and we're in this year of the fire horse, and we're in it now. We're in these new definitions. We're in these new normals, and the magic is the new normal. The foundations that we've laid, the solid foundations that have been laid, the dream are making way for the dreams to become real. And for rebirth to be happening. So that is the overall message here. And so again, I am being guided to just encourage, if there is any one particular spirit animal that resonates with you more than another, go ahead and invite that spirit animal into your life, into your daily life for the next bit of time. Just tuning in to see which one resonates with me. Right now, I'm kind of going back and forth between Spider Spirit and White Raven Spirit. So maybe I will invite both of them. And so I'll go ahead and work with these two, and you decide which one you would like to work with. Either White Raven Spirit, trusting in the magic, or Spider Spirit, make your dreams real. Bat Spirit, a rebirth is assured. Or Beaver Spirit, lay a solid foundation. So you decide if any one of those resonate with you, and go ahead and work with that one in a way that feels aligned for you. I'm going to go ahead and work with Spider Spirit and White Raven Spirit, and once I have gotten a sense that I've spent enough time with them, we'll pull the next Spirit Animal Oracle. And excuse me, still lingering bronchitis here. It's on its way out, but still a little bit lingering. And if you would like to have any of Colette Baron Reed's guidebook information on any of these spirit animals, just go ahead and send me a message or put it in the comments, and I'll send that to you separately. But otherwise, when I post this video, I'll just post a brief recap of the messages, how they came through. I'll try to sum it up a little bit more clearly. I feel like I was also trying to understand the message as it was coming through. So some of it didn't flow as smoothly, but definitely got the sense of it toward the end. So we're building a foundation that is centered around belief and trust. Believing and trusting in ourselves and in the magic. And that part of that foundation is coupled with the foundations that Beaver Spirit lays, with building that home, you know, with all the wood and the trees and the branches and everything, building that foundation of stability and support. And then Spider also, the foundation of the web, building that web, and not giving up in our dreams, not giving up on our dreams, even if there's a storm that comes, to not give up on our dreams, to keep rebuilding, and keep going. And when we're able to do all that in an aligned way with our true path and purpose, a real rebirth is assured. All right. Thank you, everyone. Until next time.